You know security is hard, so let's assume we're probably gonna get pwned by noon. But if we all start to get the basics right, we might not fully get pwned until tonight. We did it, Ken. We pushed all the right buttons.
Awesome.
Well, hey everybody, welcome to the 7-Minute Security, live web podcast stream. I'm Brian Johnson, and I've got briefly with me a special guest, my pal Ken. Ken, I selfishly will take any amount of time hanging out with you for any reason. I just wanted to make that clear, and it's one of those like fun, selfish things as like a podcast and whatever video person where you can be like, what would be fun is just to invite my friends on and for any reason. And I know you got to run because you're busy planning a conference, and I've got the little lower third thing up with the link. Do you want to, and I will share up my screen too. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this exciting conference you're cooking up and,
yeah,
some
absolutely.
of your favorite things? Yeah.
Well, we're having hackredcon.com, which is going to be a great conference. It's put together by my other co-founders of HackRedCon last year, as well as Hack SpaceCon, which was at the Kennedy Space Center in April, which was really well received, and we're pretty proud of that. So this year we're coming back to Louisville, and it's going to be held at the Louisville Slugger Museum, which is a really super cool venue. They make baseball bats there, which would make sense.
Yeah.
And they also it's an interesting venue that we're really excited about. It's going to be multi floors. We have rented out the entire museum space for the after party after the event, so you can run around and nerd out and look at old baseball legends and idols that you may have had. I know me personally, I collected a bunch of baseball cards and struck out a whole lot at Little League. So I liked baseball. I just wasn't very good at it. So this is kind of a good meshing of the two things. And for the people that know our conferences, we're real approachable and laid back. And, there's actually a bourbon distiller in the museum itself. So that will probably help some of those that choose to partake, unlike myself, in alcoholic beverages in Louisville, Kentucky. There's plenty of bourbon to be had there at the Slugger Museum, as well as all kinds of kid-friendly things as well. So it should be a really cool event. We're excited about it. We got a bunch of cool talks. The first day is going to be a training day workshop, and that's going to be held at our university partners. We're partnering with the Jeffersonville Technical College as well as University of Louisville on that. And that's with your price of admission. You can attend the training day. And if you scroll up and click the training tab, it'll show some of the awesome domains that will be covered there. We have malware training, which is an all-day thing from the really, really smart people at White Knight Labs. We have a cool DevOps pipeline thing, which is going to be neat. It's like an Azure AD specific dev environment. We have, some blue team talks, some compliance talks, all sorts of good things, or not talks, 2-hour trainings, and should be really fun. They're split up into 2-hour blocks or 4-hour blocks or 8-hour all day trainings. So there's a whole bunch there, pretty much something for everyone, including the blue teamers, Lima Charlie, Home Lab for detection. And, our friend Wally, who was at both HackRed and Hackspace, is doing another really cool talk on gathering intelligence data from data dumps. And we just have a really good hands-on experience on that day. And then the next day will be the straight ahead conference day. And we're still adding people to that. But if you went over and clicked on the talks tab at the top, that's got a list of all of our confirmed speakers right now, and it's a whole heck of a lot of them. Some big names there, some
Jeez, yeah.
more on the way. Talking from everything from social engineering. We got Ed Scotus on our roundtable again. Business email compromise, AV EDR bypass talks based on around compilers, cybersecurity workforce talks, DoD specific defense contractor type things. Our wonderful friend Active Directory from uh, my buddy Q, um, incident response, Unix, uh, AI, blue team soft skills, just kind of hitting all of the things that any cybersecurity person would be interested in checking out. And those are going to be straight ahead talk time, 1 hour, 40 minutes, some Q&A, but it's all in an enclosed, intimate environment. So you can actually interact with these people. It
Yeah.
isn't something like a bigger conference that I'll be going to in a week, I guess, out west, where
Yeah.
you kind of get lost in the sauce. So it's a closed environment, and tickets are $250 for both days, and you can click that buy tickets link, or stay tuned because some of our friends at 7 Minute Security have an awesome gift. One thing to add, that logo was designed by my beautiful better half, Jamie, who is
Oh,
our
cool.
artist, and she did all the logos for Hack Space as well. And we did an auction, or we did a raffle at Hack Space Con with her painting as a centerpiece, and that was all the donations were funneled back into our nonprofit Build Cyber to continue to award certifications for those that can't afford it. We raised over $100,000 in vouchers for OSCP, PNTP, all of the acronyms to award to people that can't afford them, or underserved minority communities, veterans, all that sort of thing. But this year, we've decided to do an auction. So it's going to be an auction at the end. We have some cool prizes from, your Hack 5 flipper type gadgets, as well as my
Sweet.
wife got commissioned to do a really, really large painting this time. So that's going to be at the after party. We have Hacker Jeopardy, slide shenanigans, whole bunch of fun after 2 days of learning and hanging out. And there's batting cages there too, which I'm pretty excited about. Bourbon and batting cages, what could go wrong? And
Right.
yeah, a whole bunch of us unskilled nerds, inebriated, swinging bats. It's going to be a good time, and y'all
Yeah.
should come. And we love 7 Minute Security so much. We gave you guys some tickets to give away, so perhaps you can talk about that.
I will. I will be. I will be better prepared next time. In the interest of full transparency, Ken, this demo that I'm about to show for these phishing portals, I had the demo gods were not in my favor about a half hour before now, so I had to uh, quickly punt and get something ready. But yes, I will have some. Yeah, I'll have a voucher to
Cool.
share where folks can grab some free
Well,
tickets. So this looks
Well,
amazing, Ken.
awesome. And yeah, to kill more time for the demo guys, you can play our commercial now as I segue off to
Oh,
lunch.
oh, yeah,
And
sure.
I love you, man. I love your show. I love everything that 7 Minute Security is doing. And thanks for being a sponsor of Hack RedCon. And we hope to see all of our 7 Minute Security friends in Louisville, September 8th and 9th.
Sounds good. Thanks for coming
At
on, pal.
hackredcon.com.
And just go to yeah, just look at the lower third. That's what they call it in the biz. I'm
The
learning.
lower third.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, hackredcon.com. Yeah, whatever side that is for. Is that here for me? I don't know.
Cool.
It's maybe that way. So
Thanks,
cool, man.
Brian. Thanks
Thanks,
for
pal.
having me on.
You bet. We'll talk to you later.
All right, my friend.
All right. Bye. All right. Well, thanks again for joining. I'm gonna jump right to the meat and potatoes of the matter. Let me just give you an inside peek into my mind that you don't care about. But I love having a podcast because when I'm super focused on something like I was this week, like building a simple phishing portal with a Caddy server that we're going to talk about in a minute. I use the podcast kind of as my dumping grounds to barf that up either via audio or video, and it forces me to like put together enough notes and materials to basically put on the show notes or whatever, so that somebody can take those and mimic what we did here. Um, Honestly, I go back to my own episodes very often, not like that they're just some groundbreaking content, but because I know that I took good enough notes that my dumb brain, after I forget everything, I'll have written down enough to go back and recreate whatever it is I was doing. So this week, I've been looking at building. I had a need to build a very simple Cred-Capturing portal. And traditionally, like if you go to, hold on a second, I don't know what I'm doing here. Let me take off somewhere here. There's these captions, and I can remove the hack red ones so you can see better. There we go. I've got, if you go to, for instance, 7ms.us, where all the episodes live. I think if you do tag phishing, maybe let's try that. Yeah, there you go. If you go to if you go to that, you will see a collection of episodes we've done in the past. Um, my kind of bread and butter combo of software and services to bring together are the Go Fish. No, is that what it is? Go Fish. No, is that what it is? Get Go Fish. Yeah, Get Go Fish. That's been my go-to like platform to make an actual phishing landing page and capture credentials and those kind of things. And then I usually pair that with like buying a domain that is similarly spelled to the customers, and I maybe swap out an O for a zero or something like that in the company domain. So I buy that up. I attach a Google Apps account to it, and I set up an actual email capable account. I hook that into GoFish, and GoFish actually sends out the emails, points people to the page, all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of, maybe it's not super complicated for those of you who like automate and streamline everything. But when I build these campaigns, I don't do them a ton. I maybe do one a month. So I'm pretty much going out to DigitalOcean. I'm spinning up a Linux droplet. I'm getting Go Fish on there. And then I got to figure out how to get the Let's Encrypt cert going, which is only a few commands, but I can never remember what they are. And it's just a lot of moving pieces. And I had the need recently to just like very quickly get like a super basic page stood up that would capture credentials. And so, kind of on the side, I was researching. I wanted to be able to just spin up a couple static websites, and didn't know if just using Apache and some index.html and vhosts would do the job. But I was chatting with some folks in Slack, and they pointed me towards this Caddy server. Okay, which boasts itself as being the ultimate server, powerful, enterprise-ready, open source web server with this is the part that really caught my eye: automatic HTTPS written in Go. So I kind of jumped off from this standpoint, and number one, tried to get my sort of static page basic website spun up, but at the same time research, oh, well, how might you use this wonderful, powerful web server to do phishing campaigns? So I kind of want to walk you through the steps, just so you can see sort of what it what it all looks like, and how we can put everything together. All I did on the back end, what I'm about to show you, is I just spun up a basic Linux Ubuntu 2020, no, whatever the latest is, 22.04, I think, with just the apt-get updates on there and nothing else. And I'm pretty much following, as far as getting started, I'm just following their install guide. All right. So I'm going to do it just for the sake of doing it. This is kind of the boring part. But right here under the Debian instructions, this is what I'm going to run on my little droplet guy here. Okay, so while I'm doing this, I'll tell you about the panic moment that I had. So I was just practicing this a couple times yesterday and today, just to make sure I iron the kinks out. And what I found out the hard way is that if Let's Encrypt issues the same cert, in other words, the cert for the same domain, um, 5 times in, I don't know, 24 or 48 hours, you get a block that says, oh, you can't issue this anymore. You've got to wait X amount of hours. So I quickly just went to one of my spare kind of backup domains, 7ms.biz, and I attached this. I pointed via DNS, I pointed it um, to this public IP of this Linux box that I'm playing with. Okay. And this, and here I'm just going to copy and paste these install dealies here. Oh, son of a dog! Too many passwords. Thank goodness. Okay, just a little copy pasty, copy pasta. But there's nothing like having a show-stopping demo god curse happen to you, moments before you're supposed to go live. But I'm just to show you. I like to go through this stuff not to bore you with apt-get commands and such, but just so you really have a realistic idea of if you want to do this. Um, what is the time investment like? You could certainly put those 4 commands in a script and just boom, run that. But that's it. Caddy is now installed. Now I want to show you kind of the elegance and beauty of. Hold on, did I get? Is it screen looking okay? Should I maybe zoom in just a tiny bit more? Yeah, I'll do that. Let me show you the most basic of spinning up a like blank web server with no content yet, but with HTTPS installed and configured on the fly. Okay, so if you read about Caddy, you'll get familiar with this concept of Caddy files. So I'm going to do Caddy file, and all I'm going to do just to show you, keep it super vanilla, is I'm going to type in 7ms.biz. Which again, 7ms.biz, I have pointed to the external IP that this droplet is hooked to. And I've opened up ports HTTP and HTTPS because Let's Encrypt needs that as part of the install. All right, 7ms.biz, check this out. Sudo caddy run. And, oh, that's right. I think as part of the install, the caddy service has already started. So I'm just going to stop it. And let me try to run it again. Okay, and all this stuff that flies by, the TLDW, right? Too long, don't watch, of all this is, hey, I just configured a proper HTTPS cert on 7ms.biz. And if I just want to validate that real quick, just come over here, 7ms.biz. Boom. Okay, no content, right? But hello, happy padlock. Let's take a look at you. Pretty little maids all in a row. Whoops, I didn't really need to get more information, but yeah, let's encrypt. Boom, right on there. Just issued. Good until November 1. And I haven't played with this long enough to wait for the 90-day expiration to happen, but my understanding is that this takes care of those renewals automatically. That's pretty awesome. And maybe all of you have been using this or something like it all this time for websites and phishing portals, but for me, every time I'm doing it from scratch, it's like, okay, let's install Apache, then let's do the the different V hosting and all this kind of stuff. This was boom, just ready in one shot. But it's not incredibly exciting to have a page with no content, right? So let's do. Actually, I want to show you this. I'm going to do I'm going to just make it a directory called 7ms biz. Let's go into it. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to nano hi.txt. I'm going to nano buy.txt. I'm just making some garbage files here. C2 payload.exe, right? Just to put some junk in here. Okay, and then I'm going to, I guess I probably left my caddy file there. Let me move it here. Okay, so now to show you, we've got that caddy file where I made, where all I did is have 7ms biz in there. And then we've got some files. So you may come across a situation where you just want a simple web server that can serve up some files for some of your pen test shenanigans. Maybe you compromise a box and you need to pull something quick, a script or an exe off of some domain that you own. One easy way you can get that going with Caddy, I'm going to just nano the Caddy file again. And so here's the domain, and I'm going to do, I'm going to kind of break this out like this, because you could. Here's the nice thing that I've played with a little bit for my personal web server project is you can go domain2.net blah 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 config, right? Okay, domain3.cc, you know what I mean? Command, 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 and you can run it all from within a single Caddy file. And I could have each of these 3 domains be tied to, a folder structure that's elsewhere on the box. But just kind of for the sake of organization and getting familiar with the Caddy file structure, I'm gonna use this for just our single 7ms biz. So I'm gonna do this file server, and there's different modes you can put the file server in, but I'm gonna put browse, and then I could just type it, or I could just look for it. Okay, there we go. Output is not formatted. Okay, let's see if that. I don't know that I had enough problems for it not to work, but let's check out 7ms.biz now. Yeah, now look at this. Built-in little cool file web servery thing. Yeah, so you could, download these files, right? They're just served right off the root. But if you're using this for pen testing / phishing, you probably don't want this just sitting out in the open. If blue team or somebody were to come along and enumerate this HTTPS site, they'd be like, "Whoa, that looks a wee bit suspicious." So you could then simply do like a index.html and let's see, title hi, nothing to see here. Clearly, in a real world test, you would make this a bit more, blend in with the background. Hi, this site is all about totes legit Windows updates. Just go to Microsoft.com for more cool info, or info body HTML. It's about the most crude HTML ever. Let's start it one more time. Okay, so your site is still up there. We're serving up a very boring index.html. And actually this is like a semi legit trick that you can do to if you buy a phishing domain and you put up a landing page like this with like a couple paragraphs of really good information and some links to completely above board things like Windows updates and CNET articles and that kind of stuff. As this domain is just out there and scanned by different things, it'll at least not get a bad reputation. It can actually end up, getting categorized as like a computing knowledge site or something like that. And then, when you're ready, boom, you start using it for phishing purposes. That can help you, at least have a better chance of it not immediately getting flagged as garbage. But of course, then you can still access, by direct URL your extra files, payload dot whatever I called that, buy.txt. Okay, so that's pretty sweet. Now let's transition into, okay, well, how do we use this for maybe more nefarious phishing purposes? Yeah. So let me get that console back up here. I'm going to kill this. Let me just give myself a little more screen. I'm going to take that index file. I'm just going to clear it off. I'm going to copy in, and this is very, very crude HTML. It's actually, if you look at our phishing series, this text that I'm about to copy is in one of these. I don't remember which one, but it's going to be just a very basic form capture that prompts users to enter their username and password. All right. So it's not going to look pretty. It's not going to look polished, but it's just for demonstration purposes. Okay. So super simple HTML form. In fact, I don't even have a company logo right now. This index page just sets a background image and has like a login, has like an image right next to the login fields. None of that's going to work, so it's going to look ugly and have the broken link icon and all that. But I just want to give you the idea. All right. Okay, so there's my new index HTML. Let us run Caddy. Let's take a look at at this. Okay, so just imagine this was a bit more professionally shisty looking, right? Maybe a Office 365 login or mirrored a Cisco VPN login or something like that. But okay, so I'll type in Brian. My password, of course, is summer 2023 exclamation. Okay, hit log on. Okay, right now not directed to anything, but here is where I hit the snag. The last few days playing with this is that if we look here, there's really nothing in the logs, and the reason for that is that just out of the box here, Caddy isn't set up to be able to capture post requests or be able to actually grab and log those creds for us. So I went asking around on Slack, went asking around just with colleagues about, how might I run either do some sort of add-on to Caddy or like run some other service in the background to be able to like pass these post requests off to so that we can get a log of people who give valid creds to that page. And that's where our friends on Slack came to the rescue in a major way. And so I want to show you now how to one of probably many doable ways to get that post data captured. But before we do that, I want to take a quick word from our sponsor, SafePass.me. So don't go anywhere. Check out this word from SafePass.me, and then we'll be back to finish our Cred-Capturing portal.
Today's episode of the 7-Minute Security Podcast is brought to us by SafePass.me. SafePass.me is the most efficient and cost-effective solution to prevent Active Directory users from setting a weak or compromised password. It's in compliance with the latest NIST password guidelines, and it's the only enterprise solution to protect organizations against credential stuffing and password spraying attacks. And boy, do we love SafePass.me. It's super easy to use. You just download this MSI file to your domain controllers, you run it, you reboot the domain controllers, and boom, just like that, you will be actively preventing your users from picking millions and millions of known weak, leaked, breached passwords. It really is that easy. And I think one of my favorite parts is that SafePass.me includes a custom word list that you can use as well. So if you don't want people to be able to pick company name 2022, company name 2023, you can do that with the built-in SafePass.me word list. But beyond that, that's about how quick you can get it up and running. So next time Active Directory users get prompted to change a password, they type in the new password they want to use, and if it's on the block list, boom, they'll be told they have to pick something else. It's really awesome. We invite you to check out more at safepass.me, and don't forget to tell them that 7-Minute Security sent you, and you'll get a 10% discount. Again, that is safepass.me.
Alrighty. So in the chat, I just posted, this chat GPT stuff. Scarily awesome in my opinion. But our pal Jeff in Slack, when I asked this question about, how do I get this Caddy server to capture post data? He engaged chat GPT and found that answer that ended up being super helpful. So I'm gonna if you look at that OpenAI.com link, I'm gonna mirror that config here. So the idea, and actually what I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to create just a separate screen session called cap for capture. I'm going to make a directory called capture. Right, and inside capture, I am going to do I'm going to make a file called cap.py, and I'm going to take exactly the code that came from that ChatGPT suggestion. So this sets up a little listener to capture post requests on port 5000. So I'm going to get this up and running in this screen session. I'm going to do cap.py. And depending, I guess, on your build or how familiar you are with Linux packages, mine was, as I mentioned, completely out of the box Ubuntu, so nothing else added. I don't have Flask installed, so I'm going to do a here's just what Google told me was the easiest way to get Flask installed, is to first install pip. And again, not trying to do death by progress bar, but I do want you to see all the steps so that, I just hate that in YouTube videos, right? When it's like, hey guys, here's this very specific thing I'm going to answer. And they've hit some prerequisites that are necessary to succeed. And they just show you this part of it. I want anybody else, including myself, who lands upon this video to just see it, to see everything. So we installed Python 3 pip, and then I'm going to do install Flask. Okay, let's try this one more time. There we go. Python 3 cap.cap. So we're listening for requests to or post handoffs to this folder on port 5000. So I'm going to leave this going. I'm going to do Control A space D, not space, just Control A, then let go of Control, then D as in dog. That gets me out of my little screen session. I know there are cooler, better, sexier ways, I think, to do these multi session Linux kung fu things, but I just, it's what I've used forever. So there I did. I connected to it. Now I'll do Control A, let go of everything, press D for disconnect. Okay. Now just for fun, I'm gonna also I'm gonna make one for Caddy. Okay, and I'm still in my folder where all my 7ms biz stuff lives. So to make this sing, I've got to do a couple of things. Let's nano the Caddy file. And if you read about the module called reverse proxy, this is where you can point it at a URL and a port. So I'm going to set it up for capture and make it be on localhost 5000. And I'm going to leave everything else the same. Same amount of time. Yes. Yes. And then let me think. There's one more. Oh, okay. And then in the index file itself, come down to where you've got your form all set. See, now this form HTML that I put in here, this will work fine if you are using Go Fish, because it's got the post mojo ready to go. You don't have to make any modifications. But in this case, we're saying, hey, I want to make that post to the /capture directory. So under the action line here, between the quotes, I'm going to do /capture. Let me just check my notes, because I think that's it. What if I buffer? Yes. Well, we'll find out. I feel like I'm missing something, but let's just do sudo caddy run again. Too many passwords to manage right now. Okay, endpoint started. Okay, it looks like they don't like my formatting, but I still think it's gonna work. So let's try it. Okay, there we go. Username tangent, password. No, not winter. I've updated to summer 2023. Go. Okay. Literally. Okay. That sounds promising. Let's leave this running for a minute. I'm going to Control A, D out of that. I'm going to do a screen reconnect to cap. And look at that. Ooh, that is just super duper fun. Yeah. So there's my username. There's my password. So this really, I mean, I think if you were to just script all the commands that I showed you over the past few minutes, you could have this up and running in, a couple of minutes if you need an extremely, bare minimums phishing portal. What I now need to figure out, because notice here, it shows the post as coming from 127.0.0.1. I'm thinking there's got to be a way in Caddy that I can also capture the public IP. Actually, last thing I will tell you, because this is important as well. The logging in Caddy is pretty minimal out of the box. So let me go. I'll just leave that open. Let me go to var log Caddy, and you see that? Nada. You've got to turn that up yourself. And I've not played with a lot of the options yet. But let me kill this real quick. Let's nano our Caddy file again. And sorry if that got blocked. Let's see. I can probably turn off. Wherever that is. QR codes. Yeah, we can turn that off now. There is a whole logging section. I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to do log, and then it has its own little section. Output file. Var log caddy. Let's just call it caddylog.log. How about that? I think that should work. And this is where you can really get granular and kind of turn this up to 11. But at the very basic, that should start capturing our requests. So let's try one more time. Run it. Okay, let's go to var log caddy. Okay, nothing yet. However, I think if we go back to the capture portal, 7MS, summer 2023. Boom. And we head over to here. It's there. Now, I'm not going to explore the content of this for a couple reasons. What I have found during my past few live webinars, whenever there's any like publicly available service. So right now, if you're to hit 7ms.biz, you'll hit the portal. But people have some fun, right? So they spam the comment forms or they try to connect to administrative interfaces, and that's fine. But in here will be public IP addresses, and so if any of you have or will be playing with this, I don't want to display that for everybody. But at least that's where you'd get your raw log of like people hitting that your site. Okay, let me just check my notes. I think, was there anything else I was going to show you on that? No. So like I said, to-dos for me is to figure out how to capture the public IP that goes along with things. Although that's not, I guess, super important. Really, if I'm capturing AD creds or something, if I'm seeing B Johnson come through, I'm going to go right to their Office 365 or their VPN portal or something, and I'm just going to try the creds. So I guess that's not maybe so critical, but I kind of would like to know too. Just because sometimes companies will say, oh, well, can you tell us, did they hit it from inside the office? Because, XYZ perimeter control identified this as phishing and blocked hits to it, but yet you still had people hitting it and submitting creds. So can you tell us, did they come from our corporate public IPs or did they come from their home IPs? So I'd kind of like to be able to be positioned to give them that insight. But yeah, that's it. Let me just see if there's any comments, questions, concerns. If there are, plop them in the chat. Otherwise, I will just make note that we're not going to do a live stream next week because I'll be away from the keys at that time. But Thursdays at 1 p.m. Central, we do something security E, and we'd love for you to join on any of those. The full schedule, both upcoming and past things, are at 7minsec.com/live. And we've got an ebook that you can grab that goes through a lot of pen testing attacks and tools. That's kind of fun. And we've also got a 3-day pen test class coming up in September. That's the next session, where for 3 days, all we do for half a day is we give you RDP access right into a domain joined machine, and together we punch the bejesus out of it, and We escalate to local admin. We escalate to domain admin several different ways. I get the jollies. I've kind of a broken record now, but it is my favorite professional thing I've ever worked on. So would love to see you at a future class. And then, of course, if you're a business, you're needing some combination of risk assessments, pen testing training. Please don't be a stranger. Reach out to us at 7minsec.com or on any of the social things, and we would love to hear from you. All right. I don't see any questions, so I'll just bid you adieu. Have a great rest of your week and weekend. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks, so I'll be back whatever 2 weeks from today is. I don't do math or calendars, so I'll ask you to figure that out, please. All right. Take care. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
You've been watching or listening to 7 Minute Security, a weekly podcast focused on pen testing, blue teaming, and building a career in security. For more episodes like this, visit 7ms.us. And for information about our consulting services, visit 7minsec.com.